I unintentionally have the best cheating ex-revenge story ever, and I hate myself for it. I was in a relationship with this girl when we were both in high school, back when everything felt permanent and temporary at the same time. You know how it is at that age. Emotions are louder than reason. Mistakes feel like destiny, and love feels like the only thing in the world that matters. Our relationship was toxic. That's not something I understood then. Back then, I thought I was just passionate, just protective, just someone who cared too much. Now, with distance and age and the uncomfortable gift of self-awareness, I can admit that a lot of it was me. I was insecure in ways I didn't know how to name. I was jealous in ways I didn't know how to control. Every time she laughed too hard at someone else's joke, every time she dressed up for something that didn't involve me, every time her attention wandered even slightly away from me, it felt like a threat, not to the relationship, exactly, but to my sense of worth. Instead of dealing with that, I tried to control her. I'd question where she was going, who she was with, why she needed to go at all. I'd frame it as concern, as love, as wanting to protect her. But beneath it all was fear that she'd realize she didn't need me. Fear that I wasn't enough. Fear that I was easily replaceable. One of the things she discovered during that time was modeling. It started small. A few photos, a local shoot, someone recommending her to someone else. She was beautiful, objectively so, but more than that, she glowed when she talked about it. She liked how it made her feel confident. She liked being seen. She liked creating something. I hated it. Not because of modeling itself, not really. I told myself it was about safety, about creepy men, about the industry being exploitative. But deep down, it was about the fact that other people were looking at her in ways I wanted to believe were reserved only for me. She started working with a photographer who was fairly well known in our area. Older than us, charismatic, talented, the kind of guy who seemed effortlessly comfortable in his own skin, which made my own discomfort feel even sharper by comparison. I didn't handle it well. I argued with her constantly about him, about the shoots, about how often she talked about her work. We went in circles. She said I didn't support her dreams. I said she didn't respect my feelings. Eventually, after one particularly ugly fight, we reached a kind of exhausted truce. She would continue modeling. I would try to deal with it. I pretended I was okay. I wasn't. A few months later, insecurity got the better of me. I went through her phone while she was asleep. I still remember how my hands shook while I scrolled, half terrified of finding something and half convinced I would. And there it was. Messages between her and the photographer. Daddy, baby. Pet names, playful, intimate in a way that made my stomach twist. I confronted her the next day, trying to sound calm but failing completely. My voice cracked, my hands gestured wildly, my thoughts tripped over each other. She rolled her eyes, sighed, told me I was overreacting. She said it was just a joke, just their sense of humor, just harmless flirting, that didn't mean anything. And somehow, unbelievably, I believed her. Or maybe I just wanted to. A few months later, I checked again. This time there were long conversations, paragraphs and paragraphs, jokes and stories and complaints about their days. And threaded through them, like landmines, illy. Not I love you spelled out, but close enough to hurt. I told myself it still wasn't proof. I told myself emotional closeness didn't necessarily mean betrayal. I told myself that relationships were complicated, that people were allowed to have friends. I told myself a lot of things. The third time was different. We were out on a date, sitting in a dimly lit restaurant pretending to be a normal couple. Halfway through, she casually asked if she could go through my phone. I shrugged and said sure, I had nothing to hide. Then I added, jokingly, that I'd go through hers too. Her face changed instantly. Not dramatically, just a flicker-tightened jaw, stiff shoulders, eyes shifting away for half a second. But it was enough. She said, never mind. That was when I insisted. She went through my phone first, scrolling quickly, bored, finding nothing. Then she handed me hers, and there it was. New conversations. Screenshots. Long messages between her and the photographer's girlfriend. My girlfriend calling the other woman names, accusing her of stealing her man. Furious that she had been alone with him in his house. It was all there. Clear. Undeniable. Something in me broke quietly. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just told her. I was done. She cried. She denied. She blamed me. She blamed stress. She blamed confusion. She blamed everything except herself. I walked away. A few weeks later, they were official on social media. Smiling photos, hearts and captions, inside jokes I didn't understand. I told myself I was over it. I wasn't. Years passed, I dated other people. Half-heartedly, I worked, studied, learned how to live without constant emotional chaos. Slowly, I started to recognize patterns in myself that I didn't like. The jealousy, the possessiveness, the way I tied my self-worth to someone else's attention. I grew up. Then one day, out of nowhere, a mutual friend told me they had broken up. "She's not doing well," he said. "I think seeing you might help her." I should have said no. I told myself I was being kind, mature, that I had forgiven her long ago, that holding grudges was childish. The truth was messier. A part of me wanted closure. A part of me wanted validation. A part of me wanted to see if I still mattered. We met for coffee. She looked different, older, more tired. Her confidence dulled at the edges, but when she smiled at me, it was the same smile I remembered. We talked about harmless things at first, school memories, friends we'd lost touch with, how strange it felt to be adults, then heavier things. She said she regretted how everything ended. She said she wished we'd been better to each other. She said she was sorry. I told her I was sorry too, and it was true. One thing led to another, as it sometimes does when history and loneliness mix poorly. We slept together. Afterward, lying in silence, she said it was a shame we hadn't worked out, that we might have been happy if we'd tried harder. I nodded. But inside, another voice screamed, "We didn't fail because we didn't try. We failed because you betrayed me." We kept seeing each other. Not dating. Not really. Just meeting, talking, falling into familiar patterns. It felt easy in a dangerous way, like slipping into an old addiction. Then she asked the question, "Do you think we could make this official again?" I panicked. I told her I'd just gotten out of a relationship and wasn't ready. It was a lie. The truth was that I liked my life. I liked the quiet, the stability, the freedom to be alone without feeling lonely. I liked who I was becoming, and I didn't like who I'd been with her. She accepted my answer at first. Then she asked again, and again. Every few days, gently, hopefully, painfully, "When will you be ready?" Each time, guilt pressed heavier on my chest. I knew I should tell her the truth. That I didn't see a future with her. That I cared about her as a person, but not as a partner. That we were bad for each other, but I was a coward, so I stalled. I dodged, I lied, until one day, exhausted by the question and angry at myself for not ending it properly, I did something cruel. I told her the truth. Not the real truth, but a version sharpened into a weapon. I told her I had planned this all along. That I had waited for my chance to hurt her the way she hurt me. That sleeping with her was just revenge. That I didn't care about her at all. I watched her face collapse. Her hands trembled. Her eyes filled. Her voice cracked when she asked if I was serious. I said yes. I wasn't. I dropped her off at our friend's place. She didn't look back when she closed the door. She blocked me everywhere. That was the last time I ever saw her. Years have passed since then. I've built a different life now. Healthier relationships. Better boundaries. A version of myself I don't constantly want to apologize for, but sometimes, late at night, I think about her. About the girl who just wanted to be seen. About the boy who tried to cage her because he was afraid. About how two broken people can damage each other in ways that last longer than love. I think about how vulnerable she must have been after her breakup. How lonely. How desperate for something familiar. And I think about what I did. Not the anger. Not the resentment. Not even the lying. But the deliberate cruelty. I told myself it was justice. It wasn't. It was cowardice, wearing the mask of strength. I wish I could tell her that I forgave her a long time ago. That I understand now how young and stupid and scared we both were. That I'm sorry for the way I controlled her, and for the way I hurt her when she trusted me again. But some apologies are meant to stay unsent. Some people are meant to remain chapters, not characters. All I can do now is carry the lesson forward, that love without trust becomes possession, that insecurity turns tenderness into a weapon, and that revenge, no matter how justified it feels in the moment, always costs more than it gives. And maybe that's the closest thing to redemption I'll ever get. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below.